Teachers and students have been having, special relationships, I would say, especially for the beginning of a YouTube video. We don't get flagged or anything like that, but it's been happening for a very long time. And a YouTuber that I personally really love watching, 1Cloud9, uploaded about it. Why teachers are clapping students and no one cares. And today, I thought it'd be a fun video to react to today. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with too many YouTube channels. So I am interested in, this, I don't want to say world issue, but you know what I'm talking about. I like talking about the world. I like talking about culture, and a guy that I really like watching uploaded about it, so that was the kind of the inspiration for this video. Let's hear what 1Cloud has to say.
Alright, so Pete, back in high school, I had to find a teacher sophomore year. Fine. She was 23, young. I'm not going to describe how she looks, but she was very attractive.
Yeah, and for me personally, I'm part of that, meme group where it's like, man, look at the way this teacher looks now, and look at the way teachers look for these kids now. I grew up with, all of the 80-year-old teachers, and I remember very distinctly, when I got into high school in grade 9, there was one singular teacher that was 22 or something like that, and everybody was obsessing over her. Other than that, there was literally one teacher that stood out beyond the rest, and it was just one of those 40-year-old MILFs, right, that everybody loved, and that's it for high school, right? And now, you're looking at, and all these kids are talking about, oh, my teacher this, my teacher that, people posting, teachers nowadays. It's crazy. So I can't really relate to this.
Every guy in my school wanted to get at that. I was seeing niggas who ain't have a single shot at this girl try to shoot, bro. And look, this teacher was a very respectable woman. She was heavily devoted to God and Christian.
Sorry, I love the example picture right there.
So every single shot that was shot up, she swiftly laughed it off and ignored it. Blocked by James, whatever you want to say.
And I feel like people nowadays are getting a lot more aggressive with their approach to, because I remember, again, for my example, that one teacher, I happen to have that teacher, and there was this one notoriously misbehaved student who, openly hit on her. She shut it down pretty quick, but other than that, nobody was doing it. And for the other teacher, I had her as well, the regular MILF teacher. Nobody ever actually, talked to her. Just everybody paid attention in her class.
Nothing was gonna happen with that. And she's engaged to a nice 25-year-old man, I assume. He looks pretty old. Not a 16-year-old. That's what we're talking about today. See, for some reason, it's become a trend for these younger teachers that may or may not be attractive. They could be fine, they could be chopped. I've seen the both. To just sleep with their students. And it's weird. I see it happening more and more. It's like a news story every single month. And
I don't know. I feel like a lot of them could be fake too. With the OF stuff we talk about, oh, OF teacher did this with her student. I feel like it's something that's been happening since the beginning of time, but we just, social media spreads the word around a lot more, and there's cameras now and things like that.
And nobody really cares. Matter of fact, people are in the comments congratulating these students for having sex with their teachers.
Oh, it's such a mixed bag, dude. It's such a mixed bag. You know what? YouTube, I would never in a million years be of such an opinion, okay? I'm just talking about what some people might say. First of all, I think that we can all agree that if it's a male teacher and a young girl, everybody would agree that there is no punishment great enough to fit the crime, right? It's the worst kind of punishment, everybody would sign up for it. I'm talking I just finished Vikings, Blood Eagle people. And sorry if you, excuse me if you can hear my notification. That was just an example, by the way. I'm not condoning anything. I'm just saying what some people would say, right? Okay. But then the attitude just completely switches when it's a female student with a male. If you're watching this video and you are male, I feel like you could relate by the time, again, this is just what the internet would say. I would never in a million years suggest such a thing, YouTube. It's like a dream for a lot of men, or young men, excuse me, for this type of thing to happen.
In all reality, it's rape. Let me show you an example, though. I was on Twitter, and I seen this post talking about a 33-year-old high school Spanish teacher accused of having sex with a 17-year-old student. Now, first off, if it's going to be a teacher, for some reason, it's always going to be the Spanish teacher. I don't know why they so freaky. 33-year-old girl with a 17-year-old boy. That's like a 16-year age gap. That's disgusting. And you would think everybody would be on the same page about how disgusting that is. She's
obviously, right? And especially speaking, I'm 27 years old right now. I would look at that and be like, what the hell is wrong with you, woman, right? How disgusting could you be of a person? Cause you can't possibly put yourself in that mindset. I was about to say, put yourself in that mindset. You can't, because kids are unattractive to you, right? That's how we're supposed to be hardwired.
But then people go through with it anyways. Almost doubled his age. That's weird. Well, you'll be wrong, because if you scroll down into these comments, you'll see replies like this. I don't feel sorry for the 17-year-old kid, because I remember being 17 would have been a dream come true for any kid that age. When I was in school, all the female teachers looked like Missy.
That's when I was in school, man. That's what all the teachers looked like for us. That was my experience with teachers in school. But the thing is, again, this is what I'm talking about. This is the opinion of most people. I would never in a million years agree with that, YouTube. It's horrible, 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 horrible. How many people could say this? Because I remember when being 17 would have been a dream come true for any kid of that age.
This doubt fire. Just say you don't talk to women. What are we talking about? Is that not weird to y'all? I don't care how much of a fantasy that could have been. That's still, that's weird.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. That doesn't change anything, right? That doesn't change anything. Like, there should be maximum punishment for any girl that does this.
Here we finally have a reply with some sense. Having sex when a boy is the victim, rape when a girl is the victim. Must be tough being a boy child in this life. Which is a real tweet, bro. Like, people don't really care when men get raped.
No, nobody does. Nobody does. But, like, I don't want... Okay, you know what? I'm going to say it. They're both horrible. They are both horrible, 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 horrible. But one is worse than the other.
Oh, that's just a big thing in society. We oftentimes think, oh, it's cool, you feel me? Men like, they don't care who it is. Bro, if it's a 40-year-old woman trying to have sex with a 15-year-old, that is weird.
Yeah, absolutely is weird. Absolutely. And it should remain a fantasy for young boys. Like, nobody should ever enact on such a thing.
Honestly, it's just as weird for a 33-year-old to try to have sex with a 17-year-old. I don't care if he's a year off of 18. That's
such a ridiculous argument you hear, too. Could you imagine? Like, where are you going to draw the line? Oh, she's just 12. You know, like, I can't believe that people say that. Like, no, there's a limit for a reason. And even now, like, I will never understand these people, man, because, again, I'm 27 years old. I find myself, like, if I were to look at an 18-year-old girl, a 19-year-old, like, even, like, early 20s, I go, oh, man, she looks young. Like, the attraction just isn't there. I find myself more, like, attracted to people probably, like, 25 and up. About that, right? Of course you have 18-year-olds who like look older and stuff like that, but I just can't imagine being in such a mindset. Like, that even looks young to me. I can't imagine like arguing for 17. Oh, it's just a year, just 1 year off.
Weird. That's a 16-year age gap. The age gap is almost older than the student. I will sound odd, but it's really different. When there's a girl, 17-year-old girl will not be able to defend herself against a 33-year-old dude, but a 17-year-old guy is strong enough to defend himself against a 33-year-old woman. I believe it.
What a touchy subject. What a horrible video to pick for a reaction. I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. I always enjoy this guy's videos. But yeah, I mean, if you're a young man and you can't find yourself fighting off, don't take this the wrong way. I don't want to hear about it in the comments, okay? If you can't find yourself being able to fight off a 33-year-old woman, there's something wrong with you the way you're built.
Or not, I almost had a stroke reading that first off. Second off, you're just weird. This is not Hub. This is not X videos. This is real life. That is still weird. Even in the case and in the off reality that the boy did enjoy it, that doesn't matter. That's still rape.
Agreed. And that's what the core conversation should be, and it should be maximum punishment.
What are we talking about? And I'm getting so tired of weird, horny, porn-driven, lustful guys congratulating men on getting raped. And if you want to know why I'm
W, so true. So true. This entire world's addicted to lust. We need to fix that.
I was so hard on this topic. I want to show you a different case of this same situation happening. Y'all ready? 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not saying that shit now, are
you? So it's a good example, man.
Barstool high school teacher arrested accused of sexual relationship with a 16-year-old student.
Yeah, but what's crazy is I don't understand how that happens. You know, I don't understand how that happens. Like, I'm just confused. I'm thinking of myself when I was how old? 16. When I was thinking of myself when I was 16. There is no granny on this planet that would be able to take advantage of me. And that would be the same for the vast majority of men. That's the problem. Like, I mean, it's not a problem, obviously. I'm just, like, trying to understand how this takes place. I'm sure there somehow works, but, like, I don't know. It just, excuse my language, but it's a mind fuck to me. I don't understand how that could possibly happen. Like, it happens, don't get me wrong, and it's horrible, and you should absolutely... Oh my god, I just realized what the top comment said. Arrest a 16-year-old too. Sorry, I missed that whole thing.
Arrest the 16-year-old too. So it's different when they're ugly, right? Only reason why y'all are congratulating these guys is because the teacher is attractive. And no matter how attractive they are, that teacher is still a pedophile and they should be shamed. Think if the roles were reversed, right? Let's say it's a Michael B. Jordan looking male teacher and a 16-year-old girl. The girlies in the comment section not finna be defending that teacher talking about, well, he's fine, so it doesn't matter. No, they're finna...
I mean, to be honest with you, you will see those comments, but like the vast majority of people that are normal, well-adjusted, structured, and have a proper mind to them would want maximum punishment for this type of thing.
Call him a creep and a weirdo. And he is a creep and a weirdo, so he should get that criticism. No matter how attractive that teacher was, she is still a creep and a weirdo.
Yes.
And she's exposing a minor to a lot of sexual activities. Stuff like that turns people into sex addicts.
I mean, to be fair, everybody already was. I know I'm not doing myself any favors to this video, but like the average age to get into adult content as of a few years ago was 11 years old for boys, and now it's probably even younger. Like, it's getting worse and worse and worse, but I do agree with that. It ruins people's lives.
A lot of things that go into it, bro. But when the teacher looks like this, you got niggas over here calling the kid blind or
That's the state of the internet, man.
And I get most of these people are just joking, but at the same time, there's truth to every single joke. And at the same time, we shouldn't be joking about. If the roles were reversed, I'll be calling for public execution, bro. Don't act like y'all wouldn't. Nope.
Yep, that's true, and we should... Okay, here's my problem. Is it okay to say that against, like, objectively horrible people? Is it okay to say, like, you know, send the guillotine? Is that okay? I don't know if it's okay to say on YouTube. I don't know.
Nobody cares when boys get raped. They only care when girls do. I've heard so many stories of younger boys getting sexually assaulted, touched, and everything, like pretty much everything you could think of while they were at a very young age.
When I was 9, I got by a guy.
Okay, he used the worst clip possible. He used the worst clip possible, but it does demonstrate the point because Shab starts laughing.
Don't laugh, Brandon.
I'm not laughing.
Why'd you laugh?
It's just... It's such a curveball.
I'm gonna say it again, and if you smile, I'm gonna leave. So when I was 9 years old,
I'm laughing at it. I'm laughing out of like the position to be in. You know, it is a curveball, and like just I don't know what they were talking about before that. I don't know what just happened to my webcam. Sorry about that, guys. Oh yeah, like I'm not laughing at the idea either. Don't get me wrong.
day for summer.
Every day? You couldn't avoid him, for God's sake? All right, hold on.
And while I don't know anybody who's personally clapped a teacher, I remember this one story of this guy getting sexually assaulted at the age of 5 by his 13-year-old cousin. And the way it impacted him in his future is so heartbreaking.
But that's a lot different from like a fantasy that a lot of young guys have. I think that's where the conversation takes place, you know, because a lot of guys will like willingly participate in something like that. Although it still is a horrible, horrible act. That's the thing. That's the problem, right? Because this is a fantasy for a lot of young boys, and that's why it's not taken nearly as seriously. And I don't know if you guys could obviously relate, but throughout my life, I've been like, you know, I'm just gonna be honest with you, like girls touch you throughout your life. Like I've been sacked before, my butt's been touched, things like that, and you just kind of go on about your day, you know. And how deep do we want to get into that? We do not want to get deep. Right? I'm just trying to avoid any hole that I could be digging to, you know, have people take this out of context. But you go about your day. I honestly would get so much more outraged if I saw a guy doing that to a girl. It's an extra level to it. They're both horrible. Don't get me wrong. They both are horrible, especially for a kid. Especially. But the one is like no doubt about it, 100%. No punishment fits the crime. It is that bad of a thing to do. I would never in a million years. Like, I want to ship them out to space, okay? Society doesn't need them. How dare you do that to a young girl? You know what I mean? It's just, there's levels to it. That's the problem with this whole thing. That's why the internet jokes about it.
Scary that it literally just, it disgusts me. Because one day his cousins was babysitting him when he was like 5 or 6. And they were playing little games. They were playing house and all of that. And then one of the cousins just wanted to experiment, but they didn't have a guy around. So they just used their little cousin. They proceeded to do all types of weird stuff with the
And this is the level that I'm talking about. This isn't the level of like, ooh, my teacher's hot, right? That is beyond disgusting, right?
Cousin, to the point where the boy started crying, calling for his mom, but like they were babysitting him, so the mom wasn't there. Whenever he would tell his parents, nobody believed him. So every single time he would go over to his cousin's house, the same process kept on happening.
Oh my
and it
God.
affected him so much to the point where when he grew up, he was put into special classes because of the trauma.
Yeah, obviously. And again, what did I say at the beginning? Did I mention a blood eagle at the beginning? You know, Like, I would not care whatever punishment you choose for these types of people. I would not care. I'd be like, good. I'll be cheering from the sidelines.
He didn't want to talk. He didn't want to socialize. His brain was just overall messed up. Now, look, all of that could have been hereditary, or some of that could have been hereditary for his actual mental weaknesses and all of that, right? But at the same time, I find it very hard to believe that those sexual experiences and that trauma that he suffered when he was a kid didn't have any part to play into it.
No, it was 1,000% of it. Like, there had nothing to do with genetics or anything like that.
You don't really talk about the repercussions of having sex at a young age for a boy. And I can tell you firsthand, it really does mess with your brain, because I actually had sex at 12. That's when I lost my virginity. It was to a girl that was much older than me. It wasn't rape. It wasn't any of that. But I'm not finna sit here and act like I wasn't kind of pressured into doing it. At the same time, I kind of got myself in that situation. It's partly my fault, and I did want to do it once I started figuring out what was finna happen. But at the same time, this was before I even really knew what sex was.
That's such a touchy subject, because again, he put himself in the situation. He wanted to do it, and if the girl wasn't over 18, like, there's so many variables to this conversation, man.
Literally had to coach me through it. And I know some of y'all are behind the screens thinking like, yo, that must be the best thing ever. I mean, whatever. No, it's not. And let me tell you why. See, at the time, I thought I was the man. I thought I was that guy. I thought, you feel me, I was like lucky for getting to do it at a young age. But here's the thing. Me having sex at a young age literally corrupted my brain to the point where I thought for several years of my life, the only point of talking to a girl that isn't your friend is for sex. And
yeah, and that would do it, right? That would do it once you awaken those thoughts, especially in not like a normal way. It's understandable, man. Then you dive into the adult content route and you get addicted to lust. You just want to do it over and over again. And this type of stuff makes you look at women as objects.
I really thought this for like 5 years of my life. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. And the reason why is because that was really how I got introduced to women. Like, I didn't learn to like women, love them for the beauties and flaws. I just thought about, yo, I kind of want to see that ass clap on my dick. And that's a very, very dangerous trap to fall.
At 12? Oof. Oh my God. Yeah, no, he's completely correct in what he's saying, man. That would absolutely destroy you. It's horrible. It's horrible. The hyper-sexualized culture we live in right now is so damaging to people. You wonder why people are getting more sad, more depressed as time goes on, becoming crappier people. It's because of stuff like this, honestly.
Because you stop looking at women as people and more like objects.
I needed to cut and redo my reaction to that, because when he said that, I just went, ha, there we go. But I understand that's going to get clipped out of context one day, because I said it because, like, I meant, like, hey, that's exactly what I said about it. Like, I saved myself a minefield with that one.
From the time that I was 12 till now, I've racked up so many bodies, it really doesn't make sense. I feel like the big problem with why we cheat so much in our society is because we like each other's bodies and not each other's souls. For you to truly be happy with a girl, you have to enjoy her soul.
Now, I agree with that. But it's also because it's encouraged online. That behavior is encouraged online. You're constantly, and especially for women nowadays, they have all of the options under the sun, and they're kind of playing like monkey branch.
Good and the bad, the pleasant and the unpleasant, not just her body. Just because a girl has a fat ass and a pretty face doesn't mean you need to date her. That's such a horrible mentality. It's crazy, and women do it too. But the reason why we do it is because at a young age, we were exposed to tropes before we were exposed to actual people.
Like I said, it's getting worse. I can't imagine what it is now. A few years ago, it was 11 years old. Now it's probably 8 or 7.
And I'm slowly trying to get back to a point where, like, I don't only value that, but it takes time. But God's been working with me. He's been helping me, so I feel like I'm gonna be straight. Just gotta trust the plan, though.
I love that. I absolutely love that for him, man. I like this guy a lot. I like watching his videos. For I assisted the poor in their need and the orphans who required help, and I helped those without hope, and they blessed me, and I caused the widow's hearts to sing for joy. Interesting.
But besides that, I think that's going to be it for this little video. I'm not going to lie. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section below. And feel free to share your stories. If you have a story, if you have a trauma story, feel free to share it, bro. It's a safe space. Twitch right.
I love that, man. Please go follow 1Cloud9, guys. It's a fantastic channel. A very, very interesting topic. Like I said, there are certain levels to the type of crime, no matter what it is a crime, but it's just like, I understand why the internet reacts the way they do sometimes, and I think that we need to be real with ourselves for a minute, too. Because I would imagine, sorry for like pausing so much mid-sentence, I'm trying to avoid a minefield for talking about this. You just gotta be real with yourself. There are certain crimes that are worse than others, and everybody knows it in the back of their heads. But at the end of the day, like, there's a line, and that line is 18. Do not cross it, otherwise I am totally for maximum punishment. Let me know what you think about this down below. Thank you so much for watching. We reacted to another video by Cloud. You can check it out right here. It was probably a little while ago. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care.